Have you ever played a game of strategy where you were given a set of circumstances and had to overcome them? Did you do it by working together as a team to accomplish a goal? Perhaps you had to cross over a path using a makeshift movable walking bridge while holding on to your partners and while not talking. How did you do it? What tools did you use? How did you communicate? When I was in the 8th grade, we did something very similar. Actually, 5 of us in a group had to move 2 fence posts by walking as one, a distance of about 15 yards, without taking a step off the posts. We did this by using hand gestures such as a 3, 2, 1 countdown, and then we decided which foot we would step with based on which hand we counted down with. Believe it or not, there is a point to this story. Each group of 5 students who went through that obstacle underwent similar restrictive circumstances, but accomplished the task using probably slightly different methods. The same can be said of cultural groups and the similar environmental circumstances that they share. The idea that a group can overcome certain environmental restrictions by making choices dealing with how they adapt is known as cultural possibilism. As discussed in a previous video, many geographers and social scientists of the ancient and not so ancient past adhered to the theory of environmental determinism, which has kind of been historically Eurocentric. French geographer Vidal de Leblanc took a more liberal approach to human development, believing that while environment did place certain restrictions in the way that human societies adapted, those restrictions weren't set in stone. If this is the case, then the environment doesn't predetermine cultural development, meaning people have the capacity to choose how they adapt to those environmental restrictions. Nobody denies the impact of the environment on humans and how they develop and adapt. After all, if you are Inuit, you probably have a culture centered on an Arctic environment. I would never have to master survival tactics for Arctic conditions living in South Carolina. But other people in Arctic biomes have a way of living that's different despite similar environmental circumstances. The same can be said of many biomes. People are more apt to live based on cultural and societal norms and traditions than they are to live in a certain way because it's hot, cold, or dry. This mode of thought allowed people to see the human potential, the possibilities that exist in many cultures of the human race. Geographers and historians adhering to possibilism are less willing to examine the worth of people groups in certain regions by factors such as climate and development, and were more likely to look at them as human beings with cultural preferences. Geographers like Carl Sauer began to adopt possibilism about the end of World War I and asserted that the study of geography should be more about understanding people's cultural imprints on the earth. Carl Sauer noticed that part of being a human meant that people have been working to adapt to their environment for as long as we have existed. The adoption of possibilism also marks the beginning of regions being compared by cultural similarities rather than physical ones. Ever seen that famous cultural realms map on the internet? There's still debate on the subject of cultural possibilism and environmental determinism. The question of just how much the environment impacts cultural development and human activity is still one that generates a flurry of response. Despite the debate, fewer geographers ignore the notion of choice on the development of the human mosaic. We are all different, but we're equal in our humanity. Thanks for watching. I love supplying you with geography content. If you want to support my channel, click on the link in the description to become a patron. Or just like and share my videos with others who may benefit from the content. And of course, subscribe to Professor Dustin and look out for the next geography content video. Peace out, students.